Hey, what's up, guys? Let me straighten this out here. I gotta clean my roof. Where is that? Oh, no. Oh, okay. Got some work to do. Oh. Hey, Keish. What's up, guys? I figure I'd jump on. Gonna start to see a lot more because I'm using Facebook Live and probably Instagram Live, and I may even go back over to Periscope and moving them over to my blog. And my new blog is Unapologetically Keith. It's actually my old blog, just reorganized it because I want to start discussing the things that I deal with and I work with and I've been through in hopes to help somebody else. Brother Clark, what's going on? So y'all still on the road grinding, tearing up the road every time I look? Y'all in some other part of the country, double dutching. I ain't mad at that. That's a beautiful thing. And I see you just gonna make the Partridge Family along the way, huh? But as many of you know me, I've been a person that a lot of people turn to for help. A lot of people turn to for advice, support, whatever. And I have no problem with that. I actually enjoy that role, but it can be difficult at times. And so they say you should choose a profession or career that you love. That way it makes it easier for you to put in the long hours. Or when you start your own business, they tell you to choose something that you love because this way you won't stress when you're not making any money and you need to grind the extra hours, you won't mind. So when I thought about it, I said, you know what? I have a platform, which is my social media platforms, and I have a voice, a very powerful voice. At least I think so. And so that's why I decided to become a counselor, a real counselor, not just, okay, let me call Brother Keith and, share my problems, but to really learn what it's going to take to help people. And what I'm realizing in the more that I study to do this is how deep the opposition is to folks with counseling. And somehow we got to change that, man. Somehow we got to change people's perception of counseling. I don't know if we got to change the name of it or whatever it is. We got to do something because a lot of people are hurting in private. A lot of people are, refusing to tell other people what's wrong because they're worried about how they're going to be judged, which should not override you wanting help. Now, as many of you know that I'm a man of God. So one of my fights is and will be to get the church to change how it goes about offering its help to people. I'm literally trying to create a business to work along with churches to find ways to offer people help. Because if people are coming to church with problems, why are we not dealing with them? Why are we not allowing people the comfort? Hey, Nicole, what's up, darling? How are you? No comments about my Cowboys until your Giants win. That's all I'm saying. But because I feel like, back to the churches, I feel like there's people sitting there listening to what a pastor has to say, and they're in pain, but don't want to share that pain because they're worried about how people in the church are going to treat them or talk about them or judge them. We can't have that. And I know it's been a long-standing problem in the church. Hypocrisy and judgment. I know that. I know it's a standing issue. I got you, love. I know I know it's a standing issue with churches. And a lot of people, the church is what it is. There's no perfect church. And I understand all of that. But my goal is, why should you have to leave your place of worship to go get help if the healing can be done right then and there through faith? And I even more so feel that this is necessary because I just came out of the Narcotics Anonymous, a meeting that I sit in for school, and the idea of them using a spiritual base. Now, it may not be Christian, Hindu, Muslim, whatever, but it's still a spiritual base to help them with recovery is proof that when done right, a person can use a spiritual platform to help remove them from whatever is bothering them or causing them harm. Why are we not offering these services within our churches? Well, that's what I'm going to do, and that's what I'm working on. And that still doesn't change the people that reach out to me now who need someone to talk to. I'm always going to be there for those individuals. I'm always going to be that person to a lot of people. And so my hope with anybody listening, and I'm not worried about who's on and who's not on. That's another thing too, is I'm not worried about the numbers of people I reach. I'm just going to do what I do every other day. I think it's going to pretty much be every other day. I may work my way up to every day, but every other day. As well as I'm working on returning back to the airways. Me and Tiff are working on how we can recreate our radio show and get back on the air and look to help solve problems, because I want to see people relieve themselves of pain. I want to see people be pain-free, whether it's relationships, whether it's personal pain, whether it's pain at work, whatever it is. I want to be able to help folks get out of the situations that they're in and know that there's another avenue that they could take and be okay. Somehow we have to fix that. And hundreds, millions of people are flooding churches on Saturday and Sunday, taking their problems with them and then taking their problems right back out. And we're missing something. And I'm not knocking my church folks, but I'm keeping it real. There's nothing to apologize for or to. Is that we're there and we're giving all this power to our pastor and our church figures. But the people sitting right next to us are hurting. The people who are praying with us and singing with us are hurting. We have to fix that. We have to find a way to bridge that gap where we open up the door to allow individuals to feel okay with laying their real burden down. Calling me up to the front of the church and telling me lay my burden down is great for the moment. I come up, I lay down, you lay hands on me or you pray for me. Okay, fine. But I need something on a regular. I need guidance, or I need someone to cut back that onion to get to the layers of why that burden was even in place. Because if not, all I'm going to do is go back out to my car and be burdened again. Because if I didn't deal with it, okay, if you don't teach me how the faith actually helps me deal with it daily, how could it not return? And again, like I said, if your church is doing it, God bless. If your church has that outreach and people are feeling healed, God bless. But I know for a fact that many aren't. So my whole thing is we got to change that. Because then what is the point of our faith if we know that people are hurting and yet we do not do anything, or we're turning them away? And what I mean by turning them away, when you don't even offer in a way that a person feels comfortable to release their burden, just because you say, come do. That's not enough. What's the parameters? Because people are worried about their pain. So you can't say, come lay your burden down here at the pastor's feet. Is pastor really ready for what my burden is? I know God is. I know God is ready to deal with whatever we're all dealing with. But is the church ready? Is the members of a particular church ready? Is the pastor ready? Is the deacon ready? Is everybody ready? Does everybody understand what anonymity is? Does everybody understand that when I speak to you, I don't want to speak to everybody in the church? Do we understand that? Do we actually understand what real counseling is and what real help is? You can't ask somebody to come up here and give their burden to the church, and the church don't know how to respond to that burden. And you got to be prepared for whatever the burden is. Don't ask people to come up to the front. Don't ask people to come to the church and lay. See, God can say that. God can say, lay your burden on me. Lay that on me. My yoke is easy, because God is God. But we as the conduits of God, we as those representing him, when we ask people to share their problems with us, we damn sure better be prepared in how we're going to help them. And if we're not ready, then our mouths should be shut. Our mouths should be shut. Because what happens is you'll do more damage to that person in crisis by not having a damn clue what you're talking about than if you had just stayed quiet. So if you're not prepared for anything that a person may say, sex addiction, drug addiction, stealing, beating their woman, beating their man, beating their kids, even super perverse things, if you're not prepared to hear that, deal with it, and offer real counseling techniques, then shut your mouth. Because you can lay all the oil you want on somebody and lay your hands all you want on somebody. You got to offer them real meat, real tangible help. Like James said, somebody say they're hungry, you don't just say, okay, I'm going to pray for you. Or they say they cold and you go, I'm going to pray for you. You take your damn coat off and you give it to them. You give them some food if they say they're hungry. And if you're not prepared to do that, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth and move out the way, because you're doing more damage. And you know what happens? Now that person doesn't want to share with anyone. Now that person don't want to talk to anyone. Now a person who's in crisis is trying to figure it out on their own. So what you've done is block them from God. Because now they actually start thinking that God can't help them because they don't know what to do with themselves. And we can't keep wanting people to dive into the Bible alone and think they're going to pull out everything that they need without some type of reassurance of what to look for. Come on, man. We're failing as the body of Christ. We're failing. And if you think I'm lying, if you're watching this live right now or you're watching this on replay, ask yourself a question. When the last time you went to your church with your problems? I'll wait. And felt comfortable discussing what really is wrong. That you in here looking at these fine men, or you in here looking at these women, or you done stole from your job, or you done slept with 4 or 5 people up in here, or you done beat your child, or you doing something more perverse. Are you really ready to share that with the members of your church? I'll wait, because I know you're not. And that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I do. There's nothing that you can share with me I ain't heard. And I'm talking about to the deep end of the perverse pool. Because if you don't know my history, you don't know what I've come across. You don't know who I've sat with, who I've spoken with, and you damn sure don't know what I've done. And I ain't got to explain it to you. What I got to do is help those in need. And so what I'm realizing, the more I research about what I'm trying to do, I'm realizing the number of people I have to cut loose to how they feel. Not that I worried about how people felt anyway. It never bothered me. I could care less how you feel about me. But what I have to realize is that I have to cut loose the way people feel, because a lot of folks out here don't understand how to deal with real people in pain. And I think that's exemplified with going to the NA meetings. Because when I'm listening to brothers and sisters in NA and I'm hearing them talk about the day-to-day struggle and what some have done to remain clean and what some have done before they got clean and what they do on a daily basis, it reminds me that a lot of fools that are out here complaining, you ain't hurting as much as you think you hurt. You just want something to talk about. Because when it's a daily, hourly process, when every move you make could cause you to fall off a cliff back into oblivion, into things that's just completely nasty, if you ain't there, not that your problems are reduced, but you got to understand that there's people out here dealing with a lot more. And if they can get clean, then you can get clean. That's what I'm offering. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what this whole process that I'm trying to do. The key is if pastors will rock with me. If church, I'm not worried about church folks, because I know some church folks going to have a problem with any outsider coming to do anything with their church. Okay, I ain't worried about that. But it's the pastor, because as the shepherd, his job is to look into anything that's going to help him take care of his sheep more effectively. Let me say that again. I'm not worried about the members of the church. Not at all. Not in the least. I'm worried about pastors who feel they can only take care of their sheep the way they have been or how they feel it works. And they're not open to new ideas or new ways of helping their sheep. I'm not coming to trim anything from the sheep. I'm not coming to take the sheep. I'm not coming to delete, diminish, or dilute anything of the shepherd. I'm here to try to help the members of his flock release what might be wrong so they can become more connected to their shepherd and who the shepherd works for. Often we forget that the shepherd is employed by somebody. We've started to make the shepherd God, but that's going to be another blog for another day on how many of our shepherds have become deities when they're actually shepherds. Now understand the difference. Please go look that up. Shepherd, deity. Shepherd, God. And many of us have started to lean towards the God side instead of holding on being a shepherd. Shepherd ain't a pretty job. It really isn't. God is a whole lot of different. And too many of us have started to want to become, too many pastors have wanted to become gods instead of shepherds. Because of the shepherd, it's a long, tedious process. It is training, it is watching, it is training, it is watching and teaching. But somehow we're missing that. And as the flock, many of us are scared to even say something to our deity. Yeah, I said that. Because he stopped being a shepherd a long time ago. Because a real shepherd worries about every member of his flock. There is no such thing as leaving a couple behind because it's hard work. No. See, the wolf keeps the shepherd honest. See, y'all forget that. Y'all forget the role of the devil. Y'all forget the role of evil. You forget the role of our problems. The wolf keeps the shepherd honest. Fall asleep you want to, punk. Watch what I do to these sheep. Turn your back and watch what I do to these sheep. Let those 2 or 3 lay in the back too long and see what I do to them. So the wolf keeps the shepherd honest. If the shepherd ain't really about what he's supposed to be doing, sheep get picked off. So as you a member of your flock in your church and you look around and notice that the numbers of your church are declining, that means your shepherd is failing somewhere and evil is winning. Or maybe they went on to join another shepherd. Who knows? So my goal and my intention is to be that bridge for the flock to release their problems, share with me their problems, to be that spiritual sounding board to individuals who are in a bad place, and then allow them to reintroduce themselves to their spiritual body within their church so they can take in more of what their pastor is offering. Now, if you're in a church where your pastor's not offering anything, that's not my problem. I can't fix that. I'm not here to critique pastors and what they're feeding you spiritually. But I'm here to help remove some of the bondage, the blockage, the things that would prevent you from being all that God wants you to be. So when your pastor offers you a word, it finds solid ground. It finds good soil. Pain and burdens muddy that soil up, harden that soil, makes the soil unable to sustain life. Think about it. When you're in pain, does anything really matter in the world other than that pain? When you have burdens, does anything else really matter to you when you're burdened with something? I'm going to try to find a way to lift that for some folks, or at least for a couple of minutes, so they can see the light of who God is and then reattach themselves to their shepherd. But you can't get there until we figure it out. And I can't do it if your pastor doesn't invite me in, because I'm not forcing my way into no one's life. I'm not begging you to hire me as a counselor. Not my style. I will reach out to every pastor in the area that I am, and then some. I think I'm going to try. Well, actually, no, I'm going to take that back. I am going to reach out to as many pastors as I physically can here in Delaware. And the ones that I have to deal with online in New York and New Jersey, well, that's what this social media thing will allow me to do also. And it's going to be my running purpose to be there for folks. Now, am I doing it for free? No. Yes, I have to charge. Not much when you look at what we're going to be working on. But that part I don't get either. Like, people are in shock that you would actually charge for it. But yet you go to some stranger and give them hundreds of dollars to talk to you about things that you're not even sure if they know about. So I'm going to have to get past that too. Skin color plays a role in this. I'd be foolish to think that it doesn't. But it's okay. That alphabet behind my name will hopefully make you understand that I put the work in to charge what I'm charging. But my goal is to help you. My goal is to get you to a point where that pain and that burden is gone, that you have become closer to who God has created you to be, that God's gifts will shine through. Because when you're in pain, it is hard to be anything. It is hard to be the things that God has created you to be when you're in pain. And that's why I'm going to look to work with as many different pastors as possible. Work with as many different churches that will have me. Work with as many people who need somebody that they can talk to that's going to keep their mouth shut about what I've heard. Now, yes, I'm going to encourage you to go to your pastor and have discussions. Yeah, I'm going to encourage you to sit down and pray with your prayer group and work with the ministries that your church possesses. And if they don't, maybe we'll look to find you a church home. But what we talk about is private. What you share with me is private. When I go to your pastor, it's simply to get scriptures that I might need to help me do what I do. It is not to go to him and say, Miss So-and-so said this and is dealing with this. No. And the pastor has to understand that. And if he wants that in from me, then that won't be the church for me. I'm not breaking the law because you want to stay in control. As a shepherd, yes, I understand. You want to protect your flock. But I'm not going to be out here hunting wolves for you. I'm here to help fix the gates, mend the fences, help the sheep that are a little slow, so that way they can rejoin what's going on and feel as protected by everybody else. My job is to be an enhancer. My job is to be an assistant to the pastor, to the flock, as I represent who God is to me. And many of our churches are failing at this because God has given us every tool we need, but he didn't give every tool to everybody. Let me say that again. God has given us every tool that we need to fix every problem that we come across, but he didn't give everybody the knowledge on how to use particular tools, which means we have to come in contact with each other to be able to use the talents that God has given particular folks to deal with certain situations. Now, if you want some scriptural reference for all my church folks who's like, what is he talking about? Is that even in the Bible? Yes. Hezekiah was sick. Hezekiah was a man of God. Hezekiah was dying. Isaiah showed up and said, God said, this is it, bro. Sorry, I got to be the one bringing you the word. Hezekiah ran into his bedroom, jumped into his bed, called out to his God in prayer. Lord, please, I've been a good dude, man. Come on, you got to do something for me. God didn't speak to Hezekiah. God again spoke to Isaiah, tell my son Hezekiah I've heard his prayers, and I'm going to grant him 15 more years. And Isaiah, you go to Gilead and get the medicine for Hezekiah's wound. So again, he brought Isaiah to Hezekiah. Hezekiah was a man of God. He was the king, but he didn't speak to Hezekiah. He heard Hezekiah, but he gave the knowledge and eventually the tools to Isaiah, as well as the word to speak to Hezekiah, the king, what God had said to him. Now, what came from that? First of all, Hezekiah had to believe that Isaiah was telling the truth. 1. 2, he had to humble himself to allow Isaiah to do what he was now said that he was going to do. Those two things get in the way of so much, especially with folks of color. If we didn't hear it, many of us don't believe it. When dealing with other folks, we have a hard time letting somebody else step in to help us. Pride. And so in many of the churches that I know I'm going to reach out to, I know what I'm going to have to deal with. But all I can do is pray that they understand what I'm trying to do, and that I believe is what God has called me to do. My talents speak of it. Long before I decided to do this, my talents were on display. Now it's just a matter of if I can get the pastors to understand that. Pride comes before the downfall, my brother Green. If Hezekiah would have allowed his pride to stay in place, he dies. But he was able to check himself because he made the prayer. He wasn't given the answer. Isaiah was. So he had to humble himself and go, I accept Isaiah the prophet, even though I'm the king. I accept Isaiah the prophet that God has spoken to you. I accept that God has given me 15 years, even though I probably wanted more. I accept that you're going to go get the medicine and come back and take care of me. But if at any time he would have allowed pride to get in the way, he dies. And for many of us, that's what's happening to us spiritually, physically, and emotionally. We're dying because we don't know how to trust others. To my pastors, part of the reason why some of your churches are dying, because you don't know how to trust other entities. You want a stranglehold on your church that you don't want anybody else to come in and do anything. But yet the sheep keep leaving. So you're going to notice from me, I'm going to be on a lot more. I'll move this over to my blog, and my blog is keithbelvin.blogspot.com, and it's Unapologetically Keith. That's the title of my blog, Unapologetically Keith. I may say some things that may be offensive. It is not done on purpose. It is not done with malice. I'm just going to tell you how I feel. I'm going to tell you what I've experienced, and I'm going to tell you what I am doing or am going to do. You have two choices. Switch off your phone and say, the hell with that fat man. Or you can rock with me, support me, and look to pass on the information that I'm giving to others. It's your choice. I can't control either one. All I can do is put the information out there, and that's all I'm going to do. And I'm not worried about those that don't rock with me. I'm used to that. You know who you are. Whether you're watching this live or you're watching this on replay, you know if you bought a book. You know if you referred my services to somebody. You know if you've called on me to help you. You know where I'm at. Or as what is that? Cardi B say, you know where I be? Even though I hate that song. Stupid. But you know where I be. So I don't have to worry about what you do. It's on you. I'm just making the steps to put myself in position to be there to help other people. Is it a business I'm creating? Yes. Do I expect to make money from it? Yes. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. But that's not the driving force behind what I do. That pays for how I do what I do. And God will take care of the rest. But I'm here to help. But sometimes to help, you have to call a spade a spade. And you have to call some people on their behavior. And when trying to help some people, you're going to have to tell other people, get out my way. Shut up. You can't help. Or you not helping. And that means some people who are really into themselves. And it's going to be a matter of pride. Because there's going to be some pastors going to look at me like, why should I bother with you? Why should you? It's on you. I can't be anybody different. And don't try to indoctrinate me, and don't try to get me to become a member of your church unless you decide you're going to hire me to work with everybody in your church. If not, no. I'm trying to help as many people as possible. So do not try to put me under your thumb. It's not going to work. I'm not tied to any one particular person because there's too many people out here in pain. There's a lot of people who have walked away from the Christian faith because they don't feel it's of any value to them because of what man has done. Not God, what man has done. We got to fix that. You got people out here in real pain who won't even consider turning to God because of what man has done to them, what some pastor has done, what some church member has done, what some person sitting in the next pew from them has done. Got to fix that. And I'm going to be asking. I'm going to ask for help. And all you can say is no. And I'm going to ask you right now, if you're watching this, did you share this? Did you reach out to somebody and say, yo, check out what my man, Brother Belvin, is talking about. Check out what Keith is talking about. Check out what Big Dog is talking about. Check out what KL is saying. Did you do that? Did you share it out on your page so the other people on your page who don't know me can learn who I am, who may need help? Did you do that? See, like I said, it takes care of itself. I used to get upset. I gotta be perfectly honest. I used to get upset. Yo, how come they ain't sharing me? How come they ain't buying the book? I had a long conversation with God and I had to check myself. And as Brother Green said, I had to check my pride. And then I realized it don't matter. Shout out to Nicole Seeley, who said to me, those that are going to support you, going to support you. And if they haven't supported you to this point, they not going to. And I said, you know what? Cool. I like that. Thank you, Brother Green. I appreciate that. But to everybody watching, whether you're watching live or you're watching on replay, let me break this down for you. In the coming months going into 2018, in the coming years, I'm going to be working or looking to work with as many churches as possible to offer counseling as a resource, meaning your church would bring me in on a particular day or evening, to offer counseling services to the members of that particular church. Might come in for 3 hours during the afternoon on a Tuesday, might come in on an evening, but whatever it is. And I would do paid counseling to those that need it. When you pay for the service, because of HIPAA laws, what we talk about stays between us. What you choose to share with your pastor is your choice. I will not share anything that you and if it's a couple, you and your husband or you and your wife, whoever, whatever I discuss with you stays between us. And I am a Christian counselor, so my base of my faith is what's going to help guide me in how I counsel you. And there's no problem that you can bring to the table that I'm going to be like, unless you're breaking the law. Now, if you're breaking the law, we got to sit down and have a conversation because I can't be an accomplice. If you telling me, yo, you robbing banks and stuff like that, I'm going to try to figure out a way to get you to stop robbing banks, but don't put me on the spot because I don't want to be sitting in court and they be like, Mr. Belvin, did you know he was going to rob or kill somebody? You might be going to jail, bro. But the idea is I'm using the talents that God has given me to speak, how quick I think, and to help because it's what I want to do. And that's why I'm creating the business. Because I already got people who turn to me for help now. So why not create a business that I love to do and that I really want to see help other people? But I can't do this alone. And so I'm going to be doing my part of trying to reach as many people as possible. Yes, I'm going to probably have to send out thousands of introductory letters to what I do. Okay. God will take care of the rest. But I need your assistance too. If it's an idea that you think will work, contact your pastor. We can do it online. If you need to reach out to me, we can schedule some type of session. Share what I put out. Discuss it with other people. If somebody is hurting, I just had a conversation with a couple on Instagram the other day, and they simply reached out to me because of stuff that I was putting on Instagram, and I appreciated that. And I appreciated that they took the time out to offer their problems to me, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to be able to help them with their problems, all because they heard what I was doing on Instagram, and I appreciate that. And there's been many others. So, on my blog, and you can share my blog too, keithbelvin.blogspot.com. keithbelvin.blogspot.com. Title of my blog, Unapologetically Keith. Unapologetically Keith. I'm just going to give you who I am. I think I've lived an interesting enough life to offer something. I mean, I'm going to keep it very candid and very real, dealing with everything. You like it, don't like it, comment on it. You don't like what I said, comment on it. Don't appreciate what I say, delete me. We good. I'm not going to lose any sleep. I don't get offended. How would I know? Unless you came across my thoughts and I go by your page. Add friend. They got me. Okay. Which happens too. I realized that. I didn't realize I got deleted by some people. And then I go to check them out to say what's up, and I catch the add friend. Okay. It is what it is. And some people have just outright just deleted me. They didn't like what I said. At first it hurt, but then I thought about it. That's their choice. One guy deleted me over my comments about Trump, and I thought me and him was cool. Okay. Such is life. God will replace it with somebody. God will replace him and her with somebody else I can help. So again, my name is Keith Belvin. If you're watching me for the first time, Keith KL Belvin, Big Dog to some, KL to some, Keith to others, Suge Knight to some. However you know me, this is what I'm doing. And this is the direction I'm going in. If you want to help me, talk about me. You want to help me, share what I put out. You want to help me, bring people to me who need my assistance. I'm going to let God do what he does through me. Because this is what I do. And I don't sugarcoat it, nor do I worry. And I don't care what your problems is. We can talk about it, because I think I've dealt with, sat with, and heard from as many perverts that you can think about. There's nothing that you can say is shocking to me. If you don't want to believe me, you can read my book, From Gigolo to Jesus. I've seen some things, been a part of some things. But what God has released me from is the pain of what I used to be. And I can offer that to you. How to acknowledge what you were, what you are, and how you fight to be who you're going to be and who you want to be. But either way, I can't help you if you don't offer to allow me. I can't come to your church if your pastor doesn't see what I do as viable. And I'm not fighting with your pastor. You might believe in me. I'm not fighting with your pastor. If when I present my information to your pastor, he don't see it as viable, I kick the dust off my sandals and I keep it moving. It's not for that shepherd. Bible teaches me that. Even God doesn't save everybody, so I can't try to work with everybody. I have to be prepared to work with everybody. But I do understand not everybody is going to respect what I do or even care about what I do. And it's okay. My time in the classroom has taught me that. And I'm okay. So again, if this is the first time you've seen me, or this is the first time you've taken the time out to watch, or you've actually sat through this whole thing, and yeah, I love to talk, but I got something to say. I will be doing more video on my blogs, various subjects, covering everything that I'm a part of, not just counseling. Let me just say that. Let me just wrap this up this way. Unapologetically Keith is not just about counseling. We're going to discuss being heavy and not wanting to go work out. We're going to discuss cheating. We're going to discuss marriages. We're going to discuss men and women relationships. We're going to discuss the church. We're going to discuss everything. Why? Because I have knowledge in a lot of things, and I know a lot of people have different interests. And I'm going to bring who I am to the table, and you got two choices: watch or not watch, comment or not comment, support or not support. I don't care whichever one you choose, because I can't control it. It's your choice. Now, if you ask me what I would like, of course I want you to support. Of course I want you to tune in. Of course I want you to share. But if you don't, God bless. That's all it can be. And I'm not offended. I'm really not. So, I am going to go grab something to eat. I thank you for tuning in with me. If you've been with me all this time, I would say please share this. And leave a thought. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. Be honest. Be brutally honest. I'm going to read your comments. So if you want to be brutal, I'm not one of those cats that delete negative comments, and I'm not going to delete you if you say something. Just don't talk about the wife and daughter, because that ain't got nothing to do with you disliking me. So somehow you work in the family, that will get you deleted. But your issue with me, be my guest. Think I'm a fool? Say it. Say, hell no, I'm not saying nothing to my pastor about you. Okay. Your choice. And if you have something good to say, say it. If you have suggestions, post them. If you say, yes, I'm going to run out here and demand that my pastor bring you in, okay. If you think that there's a way that we could do it online, okay. Post your thoughts. Either way, I can't control it. So whatever you decide, I'll leave it out to you. Have a wonderful day. I pray that you are without pain. And if you are, please understand this, and I'll end this on this. No pain is final. No pain. And not all pain. No, let me say this again. Not all pain is final. And not all pain can seem like there's no way out from under it. It may seem that way. All pain is reversible or manageable. All pain, even to the greatest degree. There is a way, if you allow God to help you through it. Now, you might need medical intervention along with spiritual intervention, but all pain is manageable and removable, but it's going to require some work. And sometimes the work may be even more painful than the pain itself. I'm here to help. But if you're fighting it alone, you don't have to. And if you don't want to be bothered with me, fine. Call on God. Call out to God. And keep fighting. And he'll send you who you need. He'll send you what you need. You have to believe that. You really do. You have to believe that God is going to help you get through whatever you're dealing with. And in doing so, you're not only going to help yourself, you're going to help others around you. Trust me when I tell you. Fighting through your pain is going to help other people, whether you believe it or not. So again, until the next time I'm on, thank you so much for taking the time out to check me out. If you watch this on replay and you want to reach out to me at main office at bravenpublishing.com. That's MAINOFFICE at Braven, BRAVIN publishing, PUBLISHING.com. Main office at bravenpublishing.com, and leave me your thoughts, your considerations. If you want my voicemail number, go to my website, www.bravenpublishing.com. Our voicemail number is on the website. Leave me a voicemail number. If you need my services or you need someone to speak to, if you need counseling, reach out to me. I'm in the process of creating the new website. And again, stop by my blog, Unapologetically Keith. at keithbelvin.blogspot.com. I thank you. Have a wonderful day. God bless, guys.